Those were the main things that happened last time. But that being the case, you've all sort of gathered together again. You've had some time to discuss amongst yourselves some of your findings, not all of your findings. We'll say at this point you've got maybe an hour until your meeting with the round table. So if there's anything in particular that you wish to do, now would be the time.
You said I wasn't here last time, but you did tell me that. Well, I wasn't here last time, but you said rather that I worked with Oral.
Yeah, you had agreed upon in the previous session to work together on your weapons. And so I described that you and Oral were working together in the lab. You were going over some of his blueprints, and he was working on some of his own designs. So if you want, you can give me 2 artificer's tools checks.
Tinker's tools.
Tinker's tools. Sorry.
Give me 1 second.
I'll say both with advantage as well, since you've got Oral's help. Damn.
Well, I didn't mean to do
Oral.
that. Oh, that's a double. Oh man.
All right, Oral.
I'll
All
take
right.
his.
That's a double nat 20,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. You still need to roll, Odin, but Oral, I'm not gonna take your double nat 20 from you.
Ignore that. Ignore that second one. That
I was just trying to add my proficiency to it because I noticed that it was still on
That's fine.
query.
You're supposed to be rolling with advantage anyway, so
Ignore the
roll.
second. Ignore the 12 because that was with my strength modifier.
Oh, okay. Okay, so 22 on the first one. Roll again with advantage.
Okay.
So I need 2 rolls.
Well, 4.
4 total, not including the 12. Okay, good thing you have advantage. And the last one, 11. All right, so with a 22, I would say that you successfully glean basically anything that you're going to glean from Oral's blueprints from his blunderbuss. You take into account some differences between the way he's designed his weapon versus the way that you've designed Hugin and Munin. But with that 11, you have not yet developed these intuitions or these modifications that you can see in Oral's weapons into your own. It's going to need a little bit more time. Maybe after the roundtable meeting, you can take another look at your guns. But for now, you've gotten a better idea of how Oral has constructed his weapon and how you might take those learnings into your own. Oral, since you did roll and you got a double nat 20, describe for me something that you would like to have worked on. Because, I mean, you are in canon working on something while Odin's looking over your plans.
I think the next step that I was technically planning on working on was some kind of reloading mechanism.
Okay.
Just so it gets a little bit easier. I can send a picture in chat.
Okay.
Also, I mean, would Oral start to glean sort of what Odin's working on?
I suppose that's up to him whether he's paying attention or not. His last session in character, I think he had indicated that he was sort of letting you look at his stuff, but he was working on something else.
Okay.
I guess if you want to, Oral, you can do a perception or an insight, but
I will send it to you directly.
all right. Oh, okay. I got you.
It's basically a big spring with a second barrel that holds all the rounds. The spring pushes them forward into that secondary chamber, and when you break it open, it ejects the one that's currently in the chamber and moves a new one in.
Is that an early break action reloading system?
Yes, it is the Alof's repeating rifle or repeating shotgun.
I mean, with a double nat 20, I can't deny you. So here's what we're gonna do. Since this is sort of off the cuff, you will now no longer need to take the reload action with this weapon, which I don't know if we were before.
I've only fired it once in combat.
Okay, you've only fired it once in combat, so it would normally be the kind of weapon that would need the reloading action, but we'll say that you're able to make it to where it no longer needs the reloading action. But given that it's experimental, it's still early on, I'll say that whenever you fire it in combat, when you want to reload it, you need to roll, we'll say 1d6, and on a 1, it fails to reload, it jams, and you have to spend your action to reload.
Alright. Works for me.
Yeah. Question.
No, it's not so much a question, it's just that I remembered Nura came by after they were working on the guns to tell them about the rat and to say some cryptic spooky shit.
Yeah. So I think we did cover that last session, but we can recover it as well if you'd like. I think actually we would have to go back in time to cover what Odin was wanting to do here anyway. So I think at this point in time, present time, we've all gathered up again. But if there's anything you want to do here while Odin or Nox, I guess, is here, go ahead.
Oh, Nura just came up when you guys were finishing up working on your guns. Came up and looked over at what you were doing and was like, ah yes, the future comes in fire and fury. The field is made even. And then she said something about an upcoming conflict that I can't remember. And she's like, anyway, we talked to the rat.
Did you learn anything of use?
We learned some things. It is not ideal to have, I think, 3 people trying to occupy the mind of one small rat. But we did get some images of repeated experimentation, escapes, different smells, places.
What of Grimshaw? Did he ask any questions?
Not many. I believe he was quite tired by the whole ordeal.
I simply wish to be cautious of involving him too much into our affairs.
Of course.
I think Odin will look over if Oral's there, just to see what he's up to. What of you? Are you alright? Have you recovered?
Oral is probably just, after having a little breakthrough moment, he's probably just really focused on just working right now. He'll kind of look over to you and say, oh yeah, I'm doing fine. Now, I have a really good idea, I think. He's just gonna start digging deeper into his work.
I'll look back to Nura and I'll ask her, have you spoken with Malakar yet? Is he anything to say?
I think I was there for the whole thing. Wasn't I the one that was
like... You were there. But you're not here with Odin,
correct.
Oral, and Nura.
Correct.
I think you went to go find Elias.
Yes, he went through the rat's memories as well, but I'm afraid I don't know too much about what he thinks on the matter. He definitely seems upset, disturbed. I'm not sure how to describe it exactly. Or if it's due to the events or the experience itself.
With hesitance going into this roundtable meeting, I do not know what to say and what not to say.
I'll admit I am much the same. I am used to being able to share everything that passes through my mind with those around me. Secrecy was never something the Spire encouraged, I must say. Or really thought of too much.
What is it that you actually do at Spire? Not talked about it too much.
I don't... I
Would you
suppose
like me to?
Wait.
Let me know if you want me to clarify anything.
Oh, do I do anything at the Spire specifically? I thought I just kind of lived there right now.
Yeah, you would have maybe observed some of the goings on there.
Yeah.
You might have even gotten a little bit of training and divination there, but.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I myself, I do not do much at the Spire for now. I suppose I was raised there. I live there. I did not come there out of a choice to study.
At the school itself?
Not really. More of a place of research. Gathered knowledge, not specifically a school. No. But you can do much learning there. More research than anything.
Fascinating. I should like to visit it one day. Oh, my accent's going somewhere else.
That would be nice. It is quite lovely, and there are many people there who are very good people, and much accumulated knowledge. Yes.
I think if there's a way to get in contact with Malakar and Elias, Odin would try to schedule a place to meet up all 5 of us before the meeting. Or you might have to put a hold on your idea for a moment.
Hey Knox, I don't know if you're aware. Are you using a different mic than normal?
I'm making food. I'm in the kitchen on my iPad. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know if Oral could tell because it was a little unclear, but that you were addressing him just now.
Yes, Oral. We should probably reconvene with the others and prepare for this meeting.
Yes, that is a good idea. It's a
Where
shame
should
to
we
put
meet?
this down, but
Perhaps, for lack of a better place, we might meet in my workshop.
There is
provided
the
we can
Grove
get
as
in.
well.
I remember looking for that place.
The what?
The Grove? Were you not there at any point?
I've heard you speak of this scroll, but I've not been.
Hmm.
I know that it apparently has something to do with the map you share with Malakal and Axel.
Hmm.
But is it not a bit of a hike to get there? I figure
Well,
we're already in College of Artifice, so my workshop would be like nearby.
This is true. I suppose if everyone else is nearby here, then this would be more convenient.
Well, wherever Elias and Malakar are.
Let's cut to
Yeah.
Elias and Malakar. What do y'all do?
DM, if I can, is there a way to get in communication with them? Easy, quick communication? Sending stone or whatever?
Perhaps, but let's first check in on them, what they're doing. I think they were in the library.
Are we at what level are we?
I don't know. What level is your character sheet? So you are
3.
3. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were 3 or 4. You're still 3.
Okay, because in one of my games I was 3 and I was supposed to be 4, and I'm trying to remember if it was this one.
My character sheet says 20.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Being level 20 wouldn't save you for some of the dangers in this adventure, though.
Oh no.
It's not like level 20 Artificer even gets that much.
No. All right, what are Elias and Malakar up to? You've just finished going through this book, Elias. Malakar, I think I think actually the two of you went from the library down to the temple, so you would be returning at this point.
Yes. Indeed.
Yes, I believe that's right. So, I would say. Give me 2 seconds. Let's see my sheet. Malakar is going to look. It's going to look over to. Jesus, why is my brain having a complete come apart?
Elias, if you look at the game, all your tokens are on the screen.
My tokens were goofed. Still are. Hold on. Let me try switching back and forth. Game's giving me some weird vibes.
Are you in GM mode again?
I did it. I fixed it. It was acting like I was, but I had switched it. That's why I'm like, the fuck? But Malakar will kind of, without looking, he'll say to Elias as they're walking, "Can I make a request of you?"
Of course.
I'm planning to go and do a little bit of digging on my own. I'm hoping that perhaps in the night I can discover more about what has happened regarding these rats.
Yes.
You and I are the only 2 people that I know of that can remain awake for much longer than the others at the very least. You and I both have adequate night vision. And by all means, we're relatively smart individuals. I think that if we work together, perhaps we could find some of these rats and follow them. Do a little bit of scoping ahead, you know.
Of course, I can go to entrance earlier, so I can stay up all night.
He nods. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, for sure.
When do you want to start then?
The quicker we solve this thing, the quicker we will find your sister.
He nods. I'm doing all of this for her. I have to repay that debt.
Any idea where we should start? You know, like where maybe start from. The
DM,
place we found?
refresh my memory. Where was the first place we discovered one of those drained bodies?
Let me put you on that map.
That's been like fucking 12 or something sessions ago. Almost a year ago, probably.
It's not been that long. But yeah, it's been a while. You would have found the first body somewhere around here, somewhere in this area.
Can you
Not
show
far
me?
from the Central Market Library.
It
Close
was
to
like
the
right
train
beside
station.
the
What? Sorry, there were multiple people talking at once.
Yeah, that was my issue.
I thought it was right outside the train station.
Yeah, it was. Well, there's multiple train stations, but I guess it doesn't necessarily matter exactly where it was. It's in this general area, though. Somewhere around here.
Oh, okay, cool. Let me zoom in. Oh, all right.
Well, I guess that makes it easy.
Yeah, we should just investigate this area and see if we can find any coming and going. That's a very strange place for the rats to start at, though. But I mean,
It's the first one you saw,
Yeah,
but after you found it, you were informed that this has been an ongoing issue.
but these rats only really have one thought pattern, and that's consume. They don't have like a, you know what I mean, like a plan or anything. They just crawl out wherever the hell they crawl out. But you are onto something there. It's not the first one. Maybe we need to go talk to the guards and see what the first like occurrence of this actually was.
well, if we're following an individual rat, that's gonna be hard. But if they are in a pack, shouldn't we go into the police or somebody and ask them for like the latest victim they found, and maybe look around there? You know, if they're moving from place to place.
It's a good point too, yeah. Maybe there's a pattern. That would be very good to find. Yeah, I think we should go after this meeting. We should definitely go, or maybe during the meeting we could get this information. Surely someone was handling it above Cassandra or Callison, right? Like she's got to have somebody who works over her.
The round table, you mean?
Yeah.
So
Wait, was she was doing all that research on behalf of the round table, if I'm not mistaken?
That's correct.
So they would
But
have her record.
She had her own sources that she was using, including Caden and the Gilded Quill Investigation Agency.
Over the table, do I know if Callison keeps handwritten notes?
Yeah, actually, part of what started you on this was her dossier that she'd put together. So, yes.
Why don't we go back to Malakar's domicile and we can flip through that and see if it's in there. That might even save us even more time.
What are you looking for specifically?
Looking to see when the first like recorded occurrence of these drained victims was and where. Like
give
when and
me
where.
Give me an investigation with advantage, one of you. It doesn't matter which.
It's probably gonna need to be you, but I will check mine.
Nope.
With advantage. So roll again.
Yep.
23.
I have bad investigation, so that was a good call.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to return to the school either way because you don't have the documents on you.
Yeah. Yep.
But
true.
yeah, we'll come to that here in a minute. I suppose in order to gather the research notes, I don't know where. Yeah, you guys had previously met in Callison's room, so I think they would have either one of you would have them somewhere, like maybe put them back in your dorm, her notes, or maybe Theron has them. But you return to the school either way.
I mean, I would assume that Theron would have gave it to Malakar as the next person in line of taking over that investigation. But I mean, that's up to you as the DM.
I think Theron would have had them up until this point, until he got hurt, and then maybe he handed them probably to Serafina. But yeah, you could get them.
We're going to that meeting. It's whatever.
Anyway, yeah.
Whenever you go to get the notes, Serafina will say, I think your friends Odin and Nura went with Oral to the College of Artifice. There were, well, he wouldn't know about Nura, or she wouldn't know about Nura, but she said Odin went over there. The two of them, they were working on something for one of their weapons.
Yeah, I'd say let's just go regroup and walk there as a group. That makes the most sense. We're all a big unit anyway.
Okay. Well, around the time that y'all are leaving one lab and going to another, 5 of you meet up.
I don't know
Are
about
we
you guys,
meeting?
but over the
Are we
table,
meeting?
I'm ready to just meet up with the round table.
Well, let's see if anybody has anything they want to say first. Where is this? Is Odin's workshop. This is the one that I have in game. I think he had another art he wanted to use. If you can post that in Discord if you want there, Knox. If you're there. Kitchen.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Oh my god, you sang that at the same time as me. That was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, line for line. We were synced up and everything. I wish I would have been pushing the push to talk.
Yeah, I didn't hear you. It was
did.
sad. It was sad.
Nura, give me an Arcana.
Okay. Come here, sheet. Here we go.
Yeah, I would say you all arrive to Odin's lab or workshop, and you're all sort of, I guess you started gathering. Nura, you go and sit in a chair or something somewhere. I mean, you get comfortable and you fall into a sleep. What does that look like?
I'm curled up in this chair, attempting to make myself into a dragon donut.
Aw.
And sleeping. With my tail wrapped all around me, so it's up tucked around my head.
So I guess napping while waiting for the others to show up. You attempt to do some weird sleep magic, and you're not successful.
Lulia is just standing on my head.
Probably getting a concerned look from Malakar.
Yeah, seeing that her strange familiar in my workshop, Odin thinks to himself, that thing cannot lay eggs, can it?
Well, you could ask, but I am sleeping. You'd have to cross the spider.
Yeah, he was sort of asking himself.
All right. Is there anything anyone wants to do here while we've got everybody together?
Nope.
I want to be sure that we are clear on what it is. There.
Words.
The situation is complex, yes. So I am at the risk of delving into branch after branch of differing theories and ideas as to what is going on and suspicions as to who might be behind it. I feel like we should all solidify one main point we wish to address with the round table and move forward from there, as opposed to nitpicking the minutia of everything. But my concern is, in doing that, the round table itself might have insight that we could glean, but they might not be prompted to share that insight if we do not address all of the different complex points of contention surrounding this. What is it that we want to go in asking? Where's Callison? The rats? What?
Well, the rats are definitely a good thing to ask about.
That was what I was thinking. No one is going to know where my sister is. If they did, they would have already got her. But perhaps they know more about these rats.
And what of this masked individual? The one Bungle drew and spoke of? The one Aaron feared as well? Do we address
We find him,
him?
of course. Though we probably shouldn't mention who we believe this person to be. It's clear that we have no idea.
Has the Round Table spoken of this individual to us before?
Out of character now.
Not that I recall. There's not a lot of options. I believe that we should let them talk first, hear what they have to say, and fill in the gaps.
Very well. That does sound prudent, if nothing else.
Keeps us from saying more than we need to abruptly and immediately.
Somebody's
Malakar.
typing.
And Malakar, what of your father? Do we speak on this matter at all?
He shakes his head. I have no solid proof. Would just be pointing fingers and directing things in a potential wrong direction.
Yes, but you must admit that it is concerning, at least, if not suspicious, that he arrives, your sister disappears, and not a day even after he attacks you.
He's nodding as you're talking, because he's like, no, believe me, I still fucking think it's him. But I have no real proof other than strange happenings that, in my opinion, should be proof enough to at least go and knock a door down for a fucking wellness check. But Malakar doesn't think that that would be the prudent move right now.
Do you know if anyone else on the Round Table works closely with your father, or has in the past?
Not if they're smart. But DM, do I? Did I recognize anyone there?
Your father is a high-ranking noble of some sorts within Groomshaw.
Yeah, but he's not on the Round Table.
No, he's not on the Round Table. Nor is the vampire Duke. What's his name? Let's see, grab his character sheet or handout here. People.
Yeah, I remember you saying that last time too.
Find them on.
They're just two scheming vampires. Nothing to be afraid of.
That's right.
The Round Table is an entity with its fingers in many pies. It is possible that even if your father is unaware of them or their presence or existence, perhaps one of them has worked with him before.
That is likely. Perhaps even the king of Avalon might have had interactions with him.
Well, say I do. What do you want me to? I mean,
I am simply saying that I am simply saying it might be worthwhile to gauge outside perspectives of your father.
He nods. I will look into it when we are at our meeting today. I will scan the room and see if I can't talk to someone one-on-one before just pointing fingers.
There may
But
be
I
some-
agree.
It's true, but there may be some worth, at least, in revealing what happened in the
He nods.
altercation between you two.
I believe I may need to look more into just exactly what he has done to my sister as well. She acted as if she was some sort of brainwashed, double... I don't know. She was not herself when he was giving her the commands. Not by a long shot.
Anything else?
Probably,
Chris
but
Redfield in that game.
there's probably something else, but I can't think of it off the top of my head right
Who did this?
I can't think of anything else that needed to be added. I feel like we've covered a lot of what needed to be done so far.
All right. If there is nothing else, then we will move along to the roundtable meeting. So, in the past, anytime you've needed to go to the roundtable, Theron has sort of led the way for you, and he has a key that opens the door there. But Theron, in his current position, is not like walking around really. He actually will be there at the roundtable meeting, so I guess he can still, but he'll be in a wheelchair, and he's only there to provide. What's the word for it? If you ask for him to explain his perspective, would be the only reason he would be there. He's not fully recovered yet, so.
So you recovered enough for a handshake?
Yeah.
Alright, well, Malachar will give him a firm handshake.
He's not sure why you're shaking his hand, but he'll nod and he'll say, "All right, let's be going then." And Serafina will join you as well.
Oh, can I get that book from you?
Oh yeah, she hands you the dossier on this investigation. It's like a manila envelope full of various reports and things.
Is Caden still in the school?
He would not be.
Malachar's just going to tuck the dossier away for right now.
Okay.
But as we go into this meeting, I do want to try to scan the room before like pre-meeting, like maybe show up a little early so that we can. I'm gonna try and corner somebody that's worked several people if I can, who have worked with my character's dad if I can, if they'll even fucking talk to me.
Fair enough. I mean, you can get there earlier. Most of the people coming into the roundtable meet are coming remotely from various places, so they're like wispy, shadowy figures, and for most of them, they don't even apparate until the start of the meeting. So mostly anyone that would be here would be those who are physically here. I mean, even some of the people who would be here from the city of Mirrodin wouldn't bother to come all the way up to the academy. Like, for example, if the king were here, he wouldn't come up here. He would join from the palace or something. So most everybody that's physically here before the meeting is going to be someone from Avalon Academy. You've got the deans, a couple professors, some faces you do and don't recognize, but nobody before the meeting starts, at least, that you would think know your father, at least.
Okay. That's all I needed. Let the meeting begin.
All right.
Odin's gonna take his seat, and I think he's gonna pull out the puzzle cube and just sort of almost as if it's sort of like a fidget spinner, he's just gonna start doing things with it.
Okay.
Moving pieces, just absent-mindedly, like going into sort of like a trance almost.
Sure. This is something
Malak-
you'll be working on throughout, but you can give me like an investigation. Sorry, Malakar, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Malakar goes to his feet, and normally he would draw his sword and lay it on the table, but this time he instead just kind of holds his arm over where his name is written, using it in place of his sword, and then he sits. He hasn't drawn his sword since the altercation with his father.
Okay. What about Elias and Oral?
Arlo's just gonna choose a seat that's kind of near everybody else. Nowhere in particular.
Sir. Any place. Well, I guess I will try to avoid being close to the higher members of the round table.
Okay. There's not really a hierarchy, so to speak, but yeah, I understand what you mean.
Well, anyone outside of my party, I guess.
Sure. And did anybody bother to wake up Nura?
Nope.
Yes, I would have not left her in there when it's time to go. I mean, obviously.
Dang, would have been way cooler if you did.
Nura wakes up in this
Yeah.
lab like, oh, where am I? Oh, this again.
Same shit as always.
Okay. Some time passes by. Nura, I assume, is there. But some time passes by, and everybody that's physically present takes their seats, and some ghostly apparitions of people from afar appear. And the normal round table meeting begins. Various people stand up and speak of different news happening across Krindal. And we have a few reports here that I would like to read through. First, a slender figure, again, ghostly apparition. You can't really make out his face, but you can see long and pointed ears. A minor development from the frozen reaches beyond Noryaska. Several exploratory caravans have uncovered a vein of glimmerstone beneath the permafrost, a rare refractive mineral that resonates faintly with ambient magic. While the quantities remain small for now, initial results suggest the region may yet hold deeper bounty. Preparations for permanent mining installations are underway, though the cold is already claiming lives. Noryaskan engineers request warm blood support to expedite the operation. And just as we peek into what's going on in the wider world, Noryaska.
Nice a ways away.
Yes. From Rhinemark comes news of economic alignment. The Empire has sealed a new trade accord with the eastern nation-states of Kyldor in exchange for Rhinemark's agricultural surpluses, particularly barley, wheat, and preserved meats. The dwarves of Kyldor have agreed to exclusive export of mithril-allied tools and precision mechanical parts. This deal strengthens Rhinemark's grip on central overland commerce and has caused concern among smaller merchants on the continental axis. Speaking of Rhinemark, the Rhinemark Empire. A final note from the south. The artisans of Aveluthar have developed new iridescent pigment dubbed Sunwilt Violet, extracted from an altered strain of violet fire trees. Its shimmer under light has made it wildly fashionable in noble circles, particularly for court fashion and arcane sigils. The demand has utterly overwhelmed the local supply chain. Cargo ships along Tescom's western coast are delayed by weeks, and port authorities in 3 cities have requested intervention to restore priority trade routes. And here we have Eliathar. Another figure stands up. The raids from the Wildheart Peaks have grown bolder these past months. Not isolated strikes for food or tools. These are coordinated, ruthless, and almost testing our defenses. No word on what stirred the hornet's nets, but the tensions are already high between Grimshar and the elves of Silverthorn. We risk a powder keg if either side is blamed. We need scouts. Quiet. Referring to conflict in this region of the world. And this sort of continues for some time, going around the table as various figures stand to report news from different parts of the world. Until the circle comes around not far from your group, landing upon a familiar figure. Chamber is dim but alive, with flickers of ever-burning flame casting halos of shifting light around against the ancient rune-inscribed table. Across its surface, the faces of the Round Table's members hang in the air like smoke, a council of blurred visages, their voices carefully modulated. One such shape leans forward now, coalescing with more definition. Broad-shouldered, upright, and speaking with measured confidence, his voice carries the faintest Everuvian accent, refined, clipped, unmistakably aristocratic. To the party, his identity is clear. Duke Edmond Alphonse Cartoneau, father of Odin and head of one of Evero's most powerful houses. Forgive me as I'm not going to do the accent. I can try.
I shan't forgive you.
I don't blame you.
No forgiveness.
None.
I don't care either way.
Colleagues of the table, I shall not dress my words with gilded pleasantries.
Oh, please no.
The High Luminary is dead. Evero is not yet leaderless, but it is adrift. Le Corps d'Elucidation, the body of elucidation, holds the helm with competence, and the Parliament keeps the ship upright for now. But let us not pretend we do not hear the creak of sails under strain. Within the last fortnight, I've noted House Moreau petitioning for expanded port authority under the guise of securing river routes. House Tybalt, of course, abstains from any meaningful votes while quietly expanding its network of civil overseers. And Decor, our friends in trade, have accelerated their naval contracts at twice the normal pace. Even the fractured branches of the royal line show signs of subtle agitation. I expect that several intend to treat the funeral not as a rite of mourning, but as a proving ground. Preparations for the king's state funeral are proceeding. It will take place in 1 week, in accordance with both tradition and the tenets of Lux. The Temple of the Golden Hour will host the rites, and foreign dignitaries have begun to arrive in Luxor. I will personally ensure the security remains uncompromised. However, we would be naive to expect the occasion to remain untouched by politics. And the smoke sort of shifts again as a different voice, a cooler, clinical voice chimes in. A matter which must also be addressed. The investigation into His Majesty's death has concluded its initial phase. We now have confirmation. It was poison, administered slowly, deliberately, over the course of several months. Our alchemist believed the king was aware of the attempts on his life. He chose not to act, hoping to trace the source of the toxin. Our findings support this. Up until the final weeks, the dosage remained within counterable thresholds. Something changed. The final dose exceeded the body's tolerance. His Majesty's will explicitly forbade posthumous spiritual interrogation. This was respected. The poison's alchemical profile bears no known signature. No clear nation, house, or guild lays claim to it. Its efficacy and subtlety, however, suggest a hand well versed in both courtly life and advanced alchemy. And as he sort of says this, you hear murmurs rippling across the table, various voices speaking up, layered with concern, others accusing one another. Finally, one stands sharply, calling out, "And yet we still permit House Moreau to move unrestricted through Parliament. Need I remind the table of their history with blood rites and subtle executions?" Then another voice cuts in, as if sarcastic, sardonic. "Please, were this truly the work of House Moreau, we'd have found the king crucified in a pentacle, not coaxed gently into the grave over 6 months. Subtlety is their mask, not their method." And this sort of arguing back and forth continues for a minute, until the Duke speaks firmly, louder, cutting through the smoke like a blade. "Enough! Everu has endured worse and emerged golden. The people do not need our panic. They need our poise. Until a successor is named, the Parliament governs. The elucidation drafts. The law holds. The light of Lux may dim, but it has not gone out. If any here believe to profit from chaos, let them remember. Everu does not kneel easily. Nor do I." And with that, he sort of sits, like, as his fist sort of bangs the table. The room falls quiet. The room sort of settles into this quiet as attention turns to your group, and Lady Seraphina stands, addressing the chamber. "Honored members of the Round Table, over the past several weeks, the city of Mirrodin has suffered a quiet but escalating crisis. Citizens vanish without trace, corpses are found drained of blood, with no pattern to the victims beyond their disappearance from public record. At first, these were isolated concerns, street gossip, inconclusive reports, but that time has passed." She steps aside, gesturing towards you all. "The individuals you see before you, Academy students and newly sworn members of this table, have uncovered evidence that we can no longer ignore. They have faced danger, pursued vanishing threads, and retrieved truths buried beyond fear and misinformation. With our resources stretched by international unrest, it has fallen to them to confront the threat festering in Mirrodin's veins. Today, they share their findings. Listen well, they are not speculations, they are facts, paid for in blood and peril." And she turns to you. "The floor is yours."
Who normally takes the lead here? I know it's not me.
Alright, Oral is just gonna sit up and say, "Alright, there's no need for concern. But There may or may not be thousands of vampiric rats beneath the streets.
Leaning more towards the likelihood part of that, mind you all.
The room breaks out into chaos.
You see, I just said not to panic because we're working on something.
Okay, a loud, boisterous voice calls out, "Order! Order!" And then somebody else angrily sneering from across the room. I suppose you have proof? More information to share with us?
Well, we do. We had a living one.
I still have its corpse. Do you want its corpse?
Yeah. Somebody waves their hand as if to say enough of this posturing. And somebody else says, "Start from the beginning, please."
Odin
All
is
right.
gonna stand. Odin is gonna stand up, and he'll look to the rest of the party, seeking permission to start from the beginning.
Oh, feel free.
Yeah, my character's not gonna fight it. He's an orc. They're not gonna listen to him.
Nora will nod.
I need the calendar, Grim, if you have it.
Yeah, let me put you on. We don't need the world map now. I just wanted to put the world map in context of some of the places I was mentioning.
Well, you just had it on Discord. If we need it, we can look it up.
I'm looking
yeah.
for it on Discord. I can't find it, unfortunately.
You're talking about the calendar. I put you
Yeah,
on. I put you
appreciate
on the screen with the map or with the calendar.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Round Table, though I do not think it warrants introduction, I am Odin St. Castile Cardinal, son of Lord Edmond, Duke Edmond. It was nearly 5 weeks ago, as the season for study began, that the Grail Desert Hall was attacked. Each of you here know that Gareth Blackthorn and his troop of miscreants were behind it, but in pursuit of investigating why, where, when, what, and how, we have discovered a deepening web of concerning details that warrant attention on the part of each and every single one of you here. I believe there is a deeper, wider conspiracy at hand, looking to shake the foundations of not only this nation, but my own and the surrounding region. Something hidden moves in the shadows, waiting to strike, and striking with efficiency and efficacy when it does. A member of your own, Callison Rovinikin, has gone missing. As my compatriot says, we've discovered some vile abomination, a plague of rats infected with a form of vampirism I have never seen before. That's my own, and he'll look to Malika, my other compatriot here has never seen before.
Yeah, Malakar shakes his head like, no, I have not.
I think I'll gesture for him to put the rat on the table at that point.
He'll shift it out of his bag and plump it on the table with a thud.
One of the members of the Cult of Unity, not the Cult of Unity, the Heralds of Version that we captured, the one they called Bungle, or who called himself... Oh, shut up, cat! God, I'm trying to concentrate! As I
Got a lot
improv
to
this
say.
whole fucking speech. Oh my god. Upon interrogation, revealed to us a figure masked in stone. And with that, I think Odin will take out the stack of papers of all the drawings and flutter them across the table like snow falling onto the ground. As it so happens, with the help of Callison and some of her own companions, we were able to track down a logistics officer for the Guild des Etoiles who was in league with the Heralds of Reversion by the name of Aaron Vallis. We managed to capture Aaron, and in his imprisonment, he was unfortunately assassinated. We do not know by whom, but suspicion points towards Gareth Blackthorn. We have evidence for this only on the word of a former member of the Heralds of Reversion that Earl interrogated the night of the assassination. It took place in Lowtown at a clinic under the... Oh my god. Fucking hell. At a clinic under the ownership of one Vicente Navarro. The clinic has since been destroyed, and Navarro and his young daughter are nowhere to be found.
All right. No, I'll assume that anything else that you would have intended to cover, but maybe forgot to mention, or
Yes, please.
would be covered. Also,
I've not finished with the allotted time.
no, you're good. I just want to ask. I want to ask a clarifying question first.
Okay.
Keep your thought. Keep your thought though. Write it down if you have to. Just wanted to ask. Do you mention at all the stone mask? Do you mention the prophecies that Nura had?
I totally mentioned the stone mask. I say, upon interrogation of both Aaron and Bungle, they both revealed to us the existence of this mysterious figure, and I took out the stack of papers
That's right.
that Bungle drew and tossed them
Okay.
across the table so everybody could inspect them.
What of Nura's prophecies?
I will have not said anything about it, but I will have looked over to Nura to see if she, kind of silently gauging her and see if she wants to speak on it. I know she's... Actually, I don't know if Odin knows this, but I remember she had some, meetings with one of the deans. I don't know if it was about the prophecies, though.
You don't know, or Odin doesn't know?
Odin doesn't know. I remember. But Odin still knows she's had prophecies, so he's looking over her, sort of gauging her to speak up and contribute.
Okay. So with that, I don't know, Nura, you can take a second to think about how you want to respond, if at all. But Malakar, go ahead with your thought.
Malakar will stand and he'll say, I would also like to mention a few things that perhaps are not necessarily involved, but are not without merit. At the current time of which my sister went missing, she had been acting strangely. She had been acting strangely as of the arrival of my father, who, by the way, is still in town, having an exclusive meeting with another vampire lord. He looks to everyone as if to be like, hopefully you all understand what I am saying, and then he sits down.
As of yet, we have yet to link these rats with any activity of any local vampiric entities that might be within Mirden, operating within Mirden. But, that being said, part of Callison's initial investigation and the investigation of those of her companions led us down into the Starlit Hollow, where we traced a number of disappearances. There seems to be some indication that there seems to be some indication of involvement on the part of Herbert's Curiosities, as well as something to do with the Silver Eclipse Casino. I do not know. We have not had the time yet. The past 4 days have felt like 7 months.
They're calling me out.
It was our intention, upon attempting to return Aaron Vallis to safety, which we had failed at. After that, following that, we would have gone back down to continue our investigation with the help of Callison. But she has since disappeared, and I have only contact with but one of her remaining companions. I don't know if we're counting Hamir, but I'm solely speaking on Caden.
Mm-hmm. I want to also ask, did anybody, I guess this would have been up to Nura or Malakar, was there any mention of what you saw in the mind of the rat?
I was going to get to that, actually. I was waiting for a good moment.
Go ahead.
This may also be worthwhile portion of the investigation, but this particular rat here, with the assistance of, what is his name?
Lucian Grimshaw.
Professor Grimshaw, and of course, he kind of motions to Nura. We were able to pry into the mind of this creature by allowing me to see through its eyes. I was the closest proximity to what it would be expecting. And he kind of flashes his teeth, like just a little bit, as if to give indication, hi, I'm a professional.
Somebody in like the crowd like whispers to the other people who are like smoke and can't actually see you, like, oh, he's a vampire.
Yeah. But he motions to the rat and he says, because it is a rat, as I'm sure you are all aware, it has minimal thought process, aside from eat, shit, you know. Though it seems with these particular rats, their need to reproduce and longevitize their existence is mute. Therefore, the only thing they need is, well, to eat, to drink. These things are mindless. Whatever has caused them to exist, they exist to cause chaos. But they are not intelligent. Not unless there is another who is coercing them through some sort of mind control. But even then, he shrugs. But that can't be underplaced in regards to the fact that my sister was under some sort of mind control when she was confronted by my father. The mind control is new, not something I've been familiarized with, and hopefully not something that I too possess as one of his children.
Are you gonna mention the fact that what you saw in through the eyes of the rat?
He's getting to that. He's letting people get their shit together. There's a lot to take in, buddy.
Yeah, you good.
I do know of a sort of starting point for these rats, though. I managed to get deep enough into its mind to see where it had originated, where it had been created. Though we're not particular on where it could be here in the city, it is underground. And there are a lot more. And I mean a lot more. In a lab.
Our altercation leading up to the explosion of the Navarre clinic involved well into, I would say, I guess Grim, correct me if I'm wrong, well into the hundreds on the surface. So I can only imagine that below ground there are thousands.
I'd say that's accurate. Again, a murmur shifts over the room. People are visibly like shaken by this news. But okay, continue.
I think that's all I had. There's
Okay.
a lab. There's a scientist down there making these motherfuckers. There's vials of blood all over the place. I don't know if they're like, how they're making them with it, or if it's just they're, like hoarding it away like some sort of vault of blood. But somewhere in this city, there is a man or a woman, somebody, maybe multiple people, who are just turning rats into vampires, and that seems to be what they're doing down there. Full-time job, from what I assume.
All right.
The crux of our investigation led us to a place in Lowtown called the Lowtown Looms, where it seems there had been a recent, well, I don't know, recent,
It's hard to
some
remember.
sort of disaster, unfortunate event that's burnt it down or destroyed it somehow some years past. We went inside, investigated. We found a body with some interesting paraphernalia on it. Remind me again what that was.
Are you talking about the fact that it was a hero of reversion?
Yes, but he had some stuff on him, right? He had like a note on him or something.
Oh yeah, I mean he was trying to summon a Tomos into his body or something. He started having weird visions, but it turns out it was because there was a rat growing in his belly.
Yummy, yummy.
Presently, we have returned to Avalon to attend this meeting and inform you all of everything that has happened thus far, but our leads dwindle and it becomes difficult to know what to do next without your input.
All right.
Always in
Ner-
existence.
All right.
We
So we
need
got
to.
heard a lot from Odin and Malachar. Did anybody else want to speak up first? And Nura, did you want to mention the prophecies at all, or are you gonna stay quiet on that? I saw you rolled a 25 and that 20 perception, but it went unperceived.
Yeah, that was me checking to see if I recognized that Odin was like, you want to talk about the prophecies?
Oh yeah, you
Because
definitely would have
I am
picked
a
up on
space
that.
cadet. So,
Yeah, you definitely picked up on it.
all right. Well, I'm going to take that as permission to speak about the prophecies because Nura is not sure what she is and is not supposed to be talking about.
Tell him,
So,
girl.
Permission received.
permission received. Excellent. Yeah. So, I will stand and say, I am not sure how much you all know of me, but I am Nura Day, Daddy, of the Crystal Spire, and I am a seer. Since this whole investigation has begun, I have received visions of the future and words of fate. I may recite them for you if you desire. But I warn the way fate speaks is often unclear. I will pause, seeing if there's a response, and if not, I will just continue.
Yeah, there's a few people who like sort of nod for you to continue. Most people have left the floor open to you.
The first prophecy I have received since this began The night bears whisper soft and low of silent steps and secret spell. A spectre's hand, a chilling flow, a silent dance, a dark farewell. The frail, the lost, the sick draw near, with hopes of balm, a bed, and bread. The young, the weak, the outcast peer for mercy's hand to lift their dread. Beneath the moon forms twist and break with cursed shapes by silver shone. The howl, the claw, the blood that wakes, a fractured soul no longer lone. 3 figures rise, the mask of stone, the thorn of black, the cloak of white, each bound by fate, yet fate unknown, moved by hand beyond the light. A darkness spreads, the second fall, the shadows draw on nameless throng. A stirring tide, an unseen call, the legion waits where shadows belong.
One of a couple of the round table members will like stand as soon as you're done and like start calling out meanings that they think that they're catching in your prophecy.
Please, gentlemen, please. And then Odin will lift up a hand. There is more. This was her second. I don't know why I am now suddenly Eastern European.
Take my accent.
There
Actually,
is-
that was my second one. You're correct. That was not the first one.
yeah.
What's
there
related
is
to this
more.
though?
Please let her speak.
Ooh. I need to really get these in order.
Well, they're in the game under player corner notes prophecies.
Oh, where? What?
Player character notes prophecies.
Player character, blah blah blah.
It is apparent that we have made many connections that you all are making presently. Just please listen.
Oh, where is this? Oh, player character.
Notes.
Prophecy 1 and
Prophecy.
Prophecy 2. Okay. I see. I lied. That was not the first one. This is the first one. Alright. In shadowed streets where silence falls, an elder's hand the boy calls. With gentle word and steadfast might, he shields the boy from bully's spite. He lights the path through darkened haze, and guides the way with steady gaze. Stand firm, young soul, and strength you'll find. Not fury nor strife, but peace of mind. The elder walks, from sight he slips, a mask of stone beneath his lips. One of 7 and 13's howled. Hollowed? The seeker leads, yet is followed. The boy tells tale to sister's ear and vows to fight with words, not fear. The sister's hand in slum's embrace, orphans grow with the Tomo's grace. One calls for war, the boy for peace. They search for stage where voices reach. A weary conductor, worn and bored, finds faith in books, his soul restored. A mask of stone guides the boy and he to meet and weave their destiny. A stage is set, the message sent. A decade leads to this event.
Yeah, as soon as you're done again, immediately like people like people start speculating.
Odin doesn't shout out this time, but he again just raises his hand to try and quiet everybody.
Yeah, everybody kind of quiets down after a moment.
I'm afraid I have one more. I'll say after it's quiet.
Oh boy.
Give me a second. This one's short, don't worry. Is secret old beneath moon's glow, a hatred born of long ago. The elder one a loss to bear, the younger one a thief to snare. The cycle stirs, begins anew. 3 will come, 3 will choose. 3 will choose true. The king now lost his crown unbound, but who among the fates is found? A traitor lurks on floating shore, where secrets keep and young explore. The streets now crawl with untold dread, a brand new threat or one thought dead. The meeting starts, the wheel again, the cycle turns, it knows no end. That
A
is all.
voice calls out from across the round table. Why are we only hearing these for the first time?
They don't usually happen so fast in such sequence for me.
You must understand that we have been very busy following the threads of these prophecies and the results of our investigation. We have not had time to convene the round table to speak on it until now.
Yeah, everybody sort of calms down and quiets down. There's understanding.
At the risk of losing our leads, we continued on our way in pursuit of understanding, but with the explosion of the Navarre clinic, the disappearance of Vicente, his daughter, and the death of Aaron Vallis, we are presently at a loss, as well as the still missing Callison Rivenigan. There was one other matter. The importance of Sophia Navarro, the doctor's daughter in Odin will... I don't know if Odin has it. I think Nura has it.
Nura has it.
He'll gesture to you to pull it out. She was the victim of a spell plague. I forget what it's called. What's it
The
called?
Aravina spell plague.
She is a victim of the Aravina spell plague, and in our attempts to search the burning building to save them, even though they were not there, Nora found this drawing, which seems to depict Lady Callison currently imprisoned and being siphoned of her blood, or it is difficult to understand what is happening in this photo, but we believe Sophia is also clairvoyant to a degree because of the plague that she carries.
I will set the drawing upon the table and nod in agreement about the seer comment.
One man stands. Based on the smoke of his figure, he appears to be some kind of a cleric by his sort of flowing robes. And he... where was my thought going there?
Nowhere from the looks of it.
Yeah. No? Let me think for a second.
It's okay. Take your time.
I lost my thought. That can come in a second. Anyway, what else? Anybody else have anything?
Overall, I think it is clear, if one steps back to look at the bigger picture, that whoever this mysterious masked individual is seeks to sow chaos. Not just in Mirden, but in the lands beyond, in my home, in many of your own lands as well. The message sent out from the Grail des Etoiles the night of the attack along with the presence of these rats and the other underlying concerns surrounding this entire investigation seems to support that theory, that whoever this individual is, whether or not they truly seek the unification of Atomos once more, or simply seek to sow chaos, or well, no, whether or not they truly seek to reunify Atomos, the underlying goal is chaos. Whether it be through chaos in doing so, or chaos for chaos's sake, I cannot say. Bungle, the individual named Bungle was the one who drew those photos you look at now. He reacted with unimaginable fear just at the sight and reference of this individual. Interestingly enough, as did Aaron Vallis, and we believe it is this boy and this conductor who is mentioned in Nora's prophecies to be Aaron Vallis and Bungle. But to what end, again, I cannot say.
Yeah, that cleric I described a minute ago, he stands up and he's gonna make an observation. You spoke, and he turns and looks at you, Malakar. You spoke of...
Malakar looks at him as if he already knows what he's going to say. So go
Okay.
on.
You spoke of control through blood. That
He
your
nods.
sister was controlled by your father.
Correct, yes.
And now we speak of these rats who are being created in a laboratory.
Using my sister's blood.
And
Yes.
thus would one think that she would have control over them.
Not if she can't even control herself.
And he sort of waves away as if waves you away as if he wasn't finished. But if she is herself under the control of another, I think you
No.
might be on to something suspecting your father. The cleric turns and looks at another figure from across the table, who you can tell by the specter of their form is wearing a crown. And has been quiet this whole time, but you have little doubt that it's King Kalen Lionheart, the king of Avalon. And the cleric says across the table, "It is my recommendation that we apprehend Tenera Ravinican post-haste. He has much to answer for."
Malakar nods. I believe that's wise, if not just for clarification. There should be some sort of investigation. He kind of looks down. I've wanted to keep this quiet because I have no true proof, but if we can get it, I know it's there.
The cleric sits after making this observation. Another member of the round table stands and says, It's clear that there's this connection with this mask of stone in both prophecies. The second prophecy, it mentions the Thorn of Black. It seems clear that is Gareth Blackthorn. But what of this Cloak of White? A few things come to mind for me. I don't know about anyone else, but when I think of a Cloak of White, I think of a doctor. Does anyone come to mind?
If they are looking for a doctor, then perhaps the one that has left, the one who has been kidnapped.
We don't know he's been kidnapped. He and his daughter were not present in the building that was on fire. Whatever killed Aaron Vallis, I do not believe, whether it is Gareth Blackthorn or something else, I do not believe Dr. Navarro had anything to do with it.
And that round table member will nod. It's just something to keep in mind. I'm not sure what else a Cloak of White would refer to.
A knight?
Combat medic? A Cloak of White. Suppose that makes sense. She nods. That could be.
And at the moment, Elias would just throw Navarro's journal on the table, and I'm gonna turn to Auden and I'm gonna say, maybe he's not the one we're looking for, but I don't think he's an innocent man, because he's doing experiments to other patients, maybe hoping to cure his daughter, but his methods, I don't find them pretty conventional and safe.
I don't think you've told Odin this yet, so he'll definitely reach down and look into the journal.
Mhm.
I had no knowledge of this. What experiments has he been doing?
Well, it's pretty cryptic. Um, there's not like definite explanation on what he's doing because he's pretty methodic, and he doesn't he knows what he's writing, so I guess he doesn't write it in detail. But from what I gathered, maybe something that has to do with transfer of the soul. That's what I'm getting. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'll read out loud. Tolerance threshold increased across recursive engagements. No signs of rejection. Framework holding stable beyond expected cycles. Evelyn suggests application of layered metaphysical thresholds to offset spiritual displacement. Preparing stabilizing invocations. Does any of this mean anything to any of you? I'll look to the round table.
Somebody else stands. Based on their figure, they appear to be a knight or a guard or something of the nature, and they turn again to the figure you recognize to be the king of Avalon, as this knight figure calls out. It is my recommendation that a search warrant be put out to bring this this Dr. Navarro in for questioning as well. And then he sits down.
I think Odin's just going to put the book back down on the table and look over towards his father and say out loud, not to his father, to the whole room, but I'm looking at Edmont. I'll say, it is not outside the realm of possibility that whoever this is also behind what has happened to our own king.
There's like a hushed sort of murmuring across the room as everybody sort of tries to piece this all together. It seems beyond the capability of a single person to do so much. Perhaps an organization. Somebody yells across the room, "What if there's a traitor amongst us?"
Who says that?
It's sort of a tall, willowy man across the table.
Is there any? I mean,
there's no indication of who he is. If they don't speak their names, they are anonymous by all means.
I think it would be best that while we are not all present and accounted for in person, well, face may face, it would be better to refrain from hurling accusations at our fellow round table members.
The figure sits down and doesn't really respond to that, but the word has been said, and the seed of doubt has been planted.
You just water it. It was already there.
Over the table, have everyone line up. I'll hit them with my ability. That'll draw them out. No, I'm just kidding. That'd take forever.
As you've all sort of said most of what you have to say, the silence has now drawn attention back towards the king, who so far has remained quiet, simply listening to the report. As the murmurs within the chamber slowly settle, the foggy presence at the northern end of the round table begins to shift. A smoky silhouette of a man coalesces into something more distinct, a tall figure draped in regal robes. Though formed only of mist and light, there's an undeniable weight to his bearing. His posture still, yet commanding. His eyes, though spectral, seem to search the room like twin suns breaking through the overcast skies. When he speaks, the room stills further, his voice composed, deep and clear. This is no longer a local concern. Until recently, the rumors from Mirrodin were troubling, yes, but not without precedent. A large city breeds shadows, petty crime, isolated horrors. But what we have heard today is not isolated, not petty, nor natural. It is, by your own testimony, coordinated, intentional, and growing. I've heard of these disappearances before. My informants whispered of bloodless corpses, strange animal behavior, and arcane anomalies in the lower districts. I chose not to act then. I believed the table could resolve it internally. He folds his arms. But now that this threat touches prophecy, plague, and cursed blood, now that it walks our halls and haunts our healers, Avalon will act. He turns to your party, particularly looking upon Odin, to whom he offers a faint nod. You have done well to come this far. Your investigation has illuminated a threat we would not have seen in time. Know that you are not alone. Avalon will provide whatever resources you require. If knowledge, tools, or personnel are needed, ask. The Academy stands behind you, and he turns and nods to the headmaster. The Crown stands behind you. But we must tread carefully. To reveal too quickly invites panic, and fear is a fire that spreads faster than any rat. Therefore our blade must be hidden within a sheath of silence, at least for now. Discreet action, subtle containment, that is where we begin. I've already authorized the deployment of the Veilbound. Some among you may remember them, though most forget, which is precisely their strength. These agents walk unnoticed amongst our citizens. Beggars, blacksmiths, barmaids. They listen, they watch, and now they are watching Mirrodin. I have also extended an official charter to the College of Nature and the College of Arcana within the Avalon Academy. Dean Zinnia Larkspur will be heading our thaumaturgical efforts, while Professor Erwin Quince, a specialist in vermin ecology, will oversee all recovered samples. The study of these so-called vampiric rats shall be done with utmost discretion. Clerical forces will be mobilized as well. I've asked the high priests of Pax and Presidium to direct a handful of their field clerics. They will enter Lowtown and the other slums under the guise of tending to the poor. While they tend to the ill, their true purpose will be to monitor for spiritual anomalies, signs of curse or corruption. Finally, I have tasked the Silent Cirrus with scanning the magical ley line traffic through Mirrodin. Their seeing eyes are capable of detecting short-range displacements, disturbances in enchantment wards, and large-scale blood rituals. Someone is hiding this plague behind arcane veils. We will find them.
Malakar's gonna stand. And what of my father?
He turns as if speaking to somebody that you can't see. We already have him in custody.
Malakar looks shocked, but he sits.
This will be quiet work. There will be no proclamations, no curfews, yet. But I must be clear. If the situation worsens, then Avalon will not remain a silent partner. You all know what that means. And as he says this, the misty projection pulses faintly as his hand rests upon the hilt of his sword. To those gathered here, you know the costs of inaction. I do not ask for permission, only your support. The investigators have brought us this far. It is our duty now to lift them higher. Give them the wind and the fire they need to finish this. And with that, the king steps back and is seated.
Odin would just bow his head. I think once he looks back up, he'll look over to his father and say, "It might be prudent to take similar measures within our borders. I do not know how it can be done without raising too many suspicions through the Corps d'Elucidation, but if we have forces within our own house to put to work, perhaps it is time."
He nods. Yes, things are much more grim than I had imagined. I will put all of our forces into play. The Griffin Riders can travel fast. Perhaps we can gather knowledge this way. And you can see there's similar conversations happening around the table. Sort of, as the king sort of sits down, like the whole room, I wouldn't say erupts into chaos, but erupts into, I would say, small, contained conversations. Groups of 3 or 4 figures gathering around to speak with one another. It's clear that this is a call to action and everybody is taking note.
Malakar's gonna lean towards Odin and kind of say, "So what are we supposed to do now?"
Find your sister. That has not changed.
He nods. I'd hope you'd say that.
But I think with the backing of both the king and the council here gathered, we may be able to pursue other avenues previously unattainable.
He nods. Let us hope so.
Father, I wish to speak with you before you leave, privately, if possible.
He nods. Well, privacy will be difficult to attain here, but we can step aside. And he'll sort of gesture for you to follow him out to the edge of the room.
Is he here or is he a shadow?
He's a shadow. You note that the shadowy figures are able to move about within the room freely. So the projection allows him to step aside with you, but you'll have limited privacy.
I'll save that for after.
Okay. Is there anything else anybody would like to do? You can basically approach anybody that you want at this point.
Might
It
also
seems
ask
like-
is...
Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask, is my grandmother here as well?
She's not. She was notably missing.
Okay.
something else calls her attention.
Go ahead, Justin.
Already forgot what I was gonna say, bub.
Okay.
It must not have been important.
What about Elias, Oral, and Nora?
I think I'm good.
Nothing in particular from Oral. He's just been listening to the goings-ons.
Oh, I
Making
was
note
just
to
gonna
himself.
say, now that Malakar's father is Malakar's gonna go and try to kind of find anybody that may know his father.
Okay. Yeah. I don't have a particular NPC for this.
NPC A, get over
yeah.
here.
Yeah, I mean, there would certainly be other orcs of Groomshar here.
Oh, well, I'll definitely go talk to them then.
Yeah. You find one, maybe somebody who is a high-ranking general in Blood's Tusk.
Good old Joe Schmo
Oh,
over
hang
here.
on now. He's part of my kingdom or my clan's army,
He would be from the same city,
but not family.
not family now. Your family is quite small and isolated.
Yes, indeed. Well, he'll approach him then.
Ah, Malakar. I recognize that stature anywhere.
He kind of grins a little and he says, well, it's difficult to miss me, I suppose. Listen, you've not heard any word of anything goings on at home recently, have you?
He says, well, it's actually been quite busy here lately. You heard the report about the Wild Heart Peaks, yes?
He shakes his head. No, He looks around. I've been removed from my family. You and I are of the same... Well, I suppose you would be higher up than I now.
He shakes his head. Well, if these things that you accusing your father of turn out to be true, then I don't think you need worry about your noble stature.
He nods. I just think it's far too curious that he should be here at the time when all of this is happening. He has no horse in this race, not for his own defense anyway. I don't know. I hope it's not true, but at the same time, I can't overlook it.
I suppose we will see what questioning uncovers.
He nods.
Well, you ask of home, and you said you hadn't heard, so it is good
Yeah.
that you know. The raids which have taken place over the last millennia, from the Wildheart Peaks, the gnolls, the trolls, the goblin tribes,
The Long War. He nods.
they have often raided our people to the east, and those in Silverthorn. And he sort of spits on the ground. The elves.
Go on.
Something has roused them.
The creatures.
He nods. Some whisper that something has emerged beneath the mountains, something ancient and spiritual, that's waking the wild tribes from within. Our best shamans have reportedly begun performing old rituals, not seen in decades. Looking to the cliffs for guidance, he shakes his head. Give me a history check.
Boy, that's going to be asked for you.
With advantage.
15.
You know, the ritual he's referring to is an ancient orc ritual that's only used in times of crisis. That they are already resorting to this extreme indicates that things are truly getting out of hand at home. They would only perform this sort of ritual, which involves a great amount of blood sacrifice.
Under
In the
dire
case of like
circumstances,
like a war, like when there are thousands dying. So for them to be doing this now, things must not be going well.
Yeah, he looks very stricken by that. And what of yours? Like, what of your family?
My kin are doing well for now. We have
Nod.
begun to prepare for battle. We must force the tribes back into the mountain. Keep the uncouth races from our civilized lands. And prevent the elves from stealing any further.
Send word if you need more assistance in destroying these creatures.
He nods.
He sighs and kind of looks perplexed for a moment, and he says, I won't be arriving for any elven disputes, however. I don't believe that they'll be making any affronts towards us during all of this. More than likely, they'll have their hands full with the exact same.
You can't really make out his face because he's like a shadowy, like mist figure. But he doesn't really respond to that, and he just sort of snorts and like an orcish, like very.
Yeah. But
Well,
yeah, that's all he has to say. He just kind of nods to him. Ride strong and die with your boots on if you must.
he nods and he'll return the same phrase back to you.
Yeah, that's all I was looking for, was any news from home. And it sounds like my father has absolute reason to be forming a new army.
All right. Anything else anyone wants to be doing?
In before I'm right.
After the meeting?
Yeah, it's like basically the meeting is over, but like you can approach anyone who is here present. Like all the deans are here, the king is here, multiple kings of multiple nations and multiple dukes and so on, high-ranking generals and diplomats, and some of the people are just like clerics or whatever. But it's the round table's main meeting for the month. Most everybody that would be here is here. The only real notable exception, like the only real notable person missing, is Odin's grandmother.
Was the king that just died, was he part of the round table?
He was.
So his seat would be empty now too, then.
Yes.
We look over, he's sitting there. Gotcha, motherfuckers.
I imagine he would be voiced by Morgan Freeman, so your voice there wasn't too bad.
I'll do it again.
French Morgan Freeman.
French
No.
Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman
Gordon
has the
Freeman.
range. I believe.
Is there anyone from the Crystal Spire here?
There would be. There would be. Do I have handouts? No, I do. Well, you wouldn't see him anyway, but hold on just a second. I gotta remind myself of names. Give me a second.
Ceruleus Varian.
Handout.
No, you can't. No, it's too early for that. I gotta find. Looking at notes, sorry. Yes, that's the Grand Master, Ceruleus Veyron, is there. You would recognize a figure with sort of long flowing robes, tiefling apparently by his horns. He sort of walks gracefully across the room, talking to a couple figures here and there before coming towards you.
I will have been waiting for him and smile and give a bow when he comes up.
He gives like a flowing sort of curtsy sort of thing almost, so his robes like flow around him. Like they do this weird thing where they sort of come back and form up, like a cloud rippling or something. He's playing with the projection, and you see as the projection of his face suddenly and like for just a moment it disappears and is replaced with a visage of his real face. But for a moment, as he smiles, and then the cloud reforms over his face. It is good to see you.
It has been too long, Grand Master. I must say I miss home in some days.
Well, if these matters did not draw you to other business, I suppose this following week you would be on your way home. But it is fate that guides us. You
And
are meant
fate
to be
that has
here in this
other
time.
plans. Ooh.
Yeah. He nods. You speak true. How do the stars find you these days?
It has been interesting, to say the least. Frightening in some measures, but I know my path. And it is not yet coming to a close. How is Alder?
He is well. You can imagine he's up to something new every day, it seems. Just the other day, and he sort of wipes his brow as if like reminiscing about something that annoying or maybe like you imagine like when a father is telling you about something that their kid has gotten up to that they got into trouble, and he's like, dang, whippersnappers, like shake his finger at
Fond
him.
exasperation.
Yeah, exasperation. Yes. He's up to trouble, but he's been quite useful here lately.
Useful? Oh, that doesn't sound like Alder. I'll say with a smile.
Yes, there was a matter of research that he was looking into. Dangerous stuff, his work. He works on the temporal magic of time. He seems to have made a great discovery, but I'll let him tell you about it. What of you? I gather you've made some new friends then?
Well, I certainly am in their vicinity a lot. I would consider many of them my friends, yes. I'm not sure if the feeling is returned. You know how poor I am at judging that. Alder had suggested getting a familiar to help ease the tension or the gap. He said that such animal bonds often help people feel more comfortable. But I have not seen much success. It's strange.
Spiders for
Hey,
that.
Oh,
he
you
laughed.
have not yet met her. This is Lulia. I say, gesturing, and my spider will crawl out of my hood.
He sees the spider like sort of crawl along your, and for him you're missed, but he sort of chuckles and says, Nura, a very fitting familia for you.
He's like, my sweet, sweet child, you are something else.
Well, based on your discussion moments ago, I would say that at least some of them have taken fondness to you. It is difficult sometimes to know for sure, but I think, though you might simply consider them comrades or fellow students, some of them would consider you friend. And if you want to know for sure, you can simply ask. It is easier than you would think.
It is not presumptuous.
He shakes his head. With what you've been through together, if you're not friends now, you will be soon. I suspect.
That is comforting. Thank you.
Yeah. I have a
been
few.
fencing. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
I have been fencing my mind magics. I am able to travel within dreams on purpose now.
He looks like surprised and like again, you can't see his face really, but he's like takes a step back and he's like, wow, sort of like, that is wonderful news, Nara. That will be of great assistance to our diviners at the Crystal Tower. I'm sure they'll all be pleased to see your progress.
Yes.
Have you made any other friends in the art of divination while studying here?
I have spoken with the headmaster quite a few times. She is the one who usually works with me, but as for other diviners, I'm afraid not. I'm still a little untethered for most, I think. Many have not been divining as long as I have.
He nods. Well, to come from the Crystal Spire, I suppose you would stand out amongst the crowd. He like goes to place his smoky hand on your shoulder, but again, the smoke just sort of like flows past. I am proud of you, Nara. We are all proud of you. You are already performing great deeds, and I'm sure you will have many great deeds yet to come.
Thank you, Grandmaster. It was good to see you, even if I cannot quite see you.
He says, and it is great to see you again as well, Nara. I have a few others I would speak with.
Of course.
But it was good to see you. And he does that sort of flowy robe, sort of curtsy sort of thing again. And you see, like, as his mist sort of dissipates into a pool of mist along the floor, before swirling around you. He wisps off and reforms somewhere on the other side of the room.
Ah, my drama grandpa. I love him so. Excellent. I will go to, if any of my companions are just kind of hanging around, I will go and hang out with them.
Yeah, you'll see Elias is. I don't know. I assume Elias. What are you doing? Like sitting and reading or something?
Are all the deans here?
Yeah, the deans are here.
Everybody?
Yes.
I want to go find Dean Etherforge.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You find her. She's sort of standing around, and as you approach, she turns and looks at you, Elias, and says, "Well done. You've all been quite busy."
One way or another, yeah. And I came to remind you now that I guess the hard path is gone. We can, like book the lectures I asked you before.
You'll have to remind me exactly what you're talking about. I know that you were wanting to. I know generally what you're wanting to do, but I don't remember the lecture. Sorry.
Like since she knows her way and stuff from the Expanse, more things about that and the things about my gem and all that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. She nods. I think it's only right. One of your companions has been studying under Dean Larkspur. Would be my honor to help you with your own research. It seems the lot of you are quite the talented young troop. Let us speak later this evening. I can prepare something for you.
Yeah, it's like not right now, but in general. Just I wanted to remind you.
She nods.
This month I was busy, and I didn't have the time to come visit you.
Very well. If you
I didn't have any episodes, I'm good. But just in case.
Kind of want to roll insight against that, but I'll let it pass. I think I might have a character sheet for her.
And also I'm like, before I leave, I turn to her and like, and also, which team has the results of the finals?
She laughs. The results will be posted on Monday.
Okay, thank you.
What is insight? Is that wisdom?
Insight, yes, wisdom.
Okay, yeah, she takes you at your word. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Anything else? Anyone? Oral, doing anything?
Probably not. There's not anybody in here who Oral either knows very well or would particularly want to talk to. So
Seraphina's in here.
Yeah, Seraphina will come and sit next to you.
We can be idly chatting, but nothing of import.
Yeah, that's basically what she comes over and does anyway. But okay. I guess Odin, you wanted to talk to your father before leaving.
Yes.
Papa.
Yeah, Odin.
Father. It is good to hear from you. Are you well?
He nods, as well as I can be in these times.
I understand.
Been very busy preparing for the king's funeral, and now this. I simply hope that you are staying well, my son.
As well as I can. Where's grandmother? I noticed she was not present for this meeting.
She was investigating another matter related to the Round Table. I don't know much myself. He sort of puts a hand on his chin as he's thinking. But given what has been uncovered here, I suspect she will be quite cross that she missed this meeting.
Watch out.
He,
I assume he's the one who has to tell her everything that happened.
yeah. He's like, he looks a little. He puts one of his hands on the back of his head, like he's like, oh shit.
My sympathies. I wanted to ask you something that might be somewhat contentious, however. Given the revelation that there is blood magic of some sort at work here, you know I put no stock into rumor, but I hesitate to see if he knows where I'm leading.
He nods. The thought did cross my mind, but lately I have taken the stance of a neutral arbiter, trying to ensure that the ship of Everu is steered correctly. I've tried to put aside my biases. But the thought did cross my mind, yes.
Do you know if she is still here at the school?
He nods. To my understanding, yes. She was acting as a advisor to the school's board. I believe she's actually been brought in to teach next semester.
Teach? What class? What subjects?
I am unaware at this time. You could ask one of the deans, perhaps.
I think as he says that, as Odin says that, he's looking around the room at the other deans.
Yeah.
Is there?
I imagine it would be within the College of Arcana, though, given the style of her magics.
He nods. Is there aught you wished for me to do to further, I don't know, inform ourselves?
I have learned through my own sources that you've begun taking initiatives of your own. I would accelerate those. Having an ear in Lowtown might be useful, but we need eyes and ears elsewhere as well. I think that is what we need most, is information, and while our Griffin riders travel fast, our information network has never been quite as, well, robust as that of the other families.
I think Odin chuckles at that. I'm like, you forget your mother-in-law, father.
He like chuckles and says,
I'll make sure to tell her. I'll make sure to convey to her your thoughts.
No, she is but one person, skilled as she is.
So, that being said, you did not answer my question. Would you... I suppose, even if it were my initiative to take, I seek your leave, as I always have. I do not know the current mood within the Cour de l'Éducation. Fuck me, dude. The Cour de l'Éducation, I think.
That's right.
but I do not wish to rock the boat either, with unduly. But if there is merit in doing so, I will.
I think simply keeping an eye on our foes and our allies equally would be useful. One thing, and he sort of puts his hand on his chin again. Margot Manon Divisé. She has been making more trips out of Everu of late. If there's anything you know or can find, I would appreciate the information.
Is there any information you have for me to look into?
He shakes his head. Just a suspicion. All eyes have been on the Manon Divisé, given their ties to the late king. But I suspect there is a fracture amongst them. And I believe perhaps Margot intends to take advantage of this to her own gains. I don't know that she means to play for the throne, but I think she's preparing to put her cards behind another.
Fascinating. I shall keep my eyes open and my ears to the ground if I hear words of her movements, presence in Mirden or Avalon at large. I shall let you know, or anywhere else for that matter.
He nods. Otherwise, it seems you're quite busy these days. I think your focus is required on this investigation.
Naturally.
I think we both have much to do. And he'll go to like give you like a ghostly handshake.
Is it out of like habit, or does he expect my ghost to also shake his hand?
It's not so much out of habit. It's just like a gesture. Is like, what can you do as a ghost, really? I think the meaning you're intended to get here is like almost to do like almost like a high five, like you're passing your hands through each other, and your hands would
Ghost
just
high five.
pass through. You would just pass through one another, so it would be like, you know how you do like a passing high five. It's not high five, but like I don't know, like a baton pass almost.
Yeah.
It's just a gesture he would do as a ghostly apparition. It's not something he would normally do.
Okay. Well, with that, if there's anything else, I will let you know. Give my best to Mother and the others, to Ava. And I'm still trying to figure this out, and he'll lift up the cube. I rolled an 18 earlier. Have I made any progress absent-mindedly along the way?
You would have, so the cube, at first you twisted it like a Rubik's Cube, thinking that's how it was going to solve. And then at some point you realized if you twisted it and turned it and then you tried to pull it apart, it opens almost like a container. And then you could see there was something in the middle, but you couldn't quite reach it. And then after fiddling with it a little bit more, maybe, I don't know how this works for Odin exactly, but applying a little bit of arcane energy into it, you feel as if the metal that's holding it, holding the inner bits together, sort of starts to bend as if being heated. But as soon as you reduce or stop applying this energy, it warps back into its initial shape.
I cannot tell if this is just a test or you're deliberately trying to aggravate me.
You fucking with me on purpose, mate?
He chuckles. It is a personal memento. It has no greater meaning.
To remind you how aggravating I can be.
I suppose you'll have to see for yourself. But you are nearing the end, I can see.
I'll keep at it. Safe travels, Father. I hope to see you soon. I intend to attend the king's funeral, if at all possible. I shall make every effort to be there.
Hopefully, these vampire rat plague will be resolved by then. But I have a feeling it will take many weeks and months to truly come to terms with everything that has happened here.
Yes. I have at least a week's notice to put some time aside to travel. On that matter, am I to come alone or with my companions, or would they even be welcome?
He you actually already talked to him about this, but he said, well, I imagine that some of your friends will be there by nature of their own, what do you call
Status.
status. He nods towards Oral. I imagine your friend Oral will be there with Lady Seraphina. If things are smoothed over or something, I imagine Malachar will be there. Elias is, well, not nobility. He is as close as one can be within Silverthorn. I don't suppose it would hurt for you to bring your friends. Although many of them will be there anyway, I suppose. I suspect.
I shall make some time to broach the subject with him, engage their interest in doing so, if not their obligation.
Yeah, the only normie amongst you at this point is Nura. Well, Oral's sort of a normie, but he's guard to a lady.
I love that description for Nura.
Normie.
Our normie. This is our local
Yeah.
normie.
Yeah.
Yep. The least normal one.
Very well, Father. I will not keep you any longer. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me. I hope to be home soon.
We will have your quarters arranged whenever you arrive.
And I think I'll walk away at that.
All right. I think we can probably call session here unless somebody has something else they want to do. That is the end of the meeting. Again, unless somebody else has anything else they want to pipe up now.
Nope.
Nope.
All right. Somebody want to take recap?
Yeah, I'll probably do it, since I meant to do it this one. I still want to write that letter, and there's some other things that I need to do just to get it out of the way.
Sounds good. Now, during the meeting, the king mentioned providing support, and so you will actually have some level of support. So before the next session, you can decide how you want to request support from the kingdom. But this can come in many different forms, and how you want to play that out. Like if you want to seek out the king before leaving the meeting, or seek out somebody else in the kingdom, or even one of the deans could convey a message to the king. And maybe it doesn't even have to go to the king directly. It's somewhere in the royal court. But you can ask for money or potions or magic items, or if you want to request the royal guard help you with some particular offensive or something. Like you want to stage a trap for the what do you call the Harabel curiosities or something. Like whatever form of support you want to ask from the kingdom, come up with your ideas for what that should be before the next session.
Is it each individual one of us gets, or is it as us as a group?
It can be either way. It doesn't have to be individual, but in general, like they're willing to equip you with whatever you need for this investigation.
Okay.
All
You're like,
right.
suddenly this is serious.
Yeah, yeah. I hope my speech from the king came across that way.
I want to talk to him.
You want to do that right now?
No, not right now. But I want to talk to him about Caden.
Okay. That'll be interesting. All right. Well, I hope you all had fun. We ended a little bit early today, but it seems like the right time. So y'all have a good one. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Goodbye.
All right.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm totally.